David, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Items are presented. Sorry, agenda.
I'll second.
First by Jenny, second by Martha. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And we have the MSBA monthly report.
Welcome to the June edition of the Missouri School Boards Association's Board Report. We begin with a look back at the legislative session that wrapped up last month. MSBA Senior Director of Advocacy, Caitlin Whaley, has a recap for us of the session, but says that in the end, state revenue and the fiscal year 26 budget were the story of the session.
So the legislature, every year, their main job is to pass a budget for the state. So House Bill 2002, which funds the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, is the primary vehicle for funding for K-12 education. So a couple of those line items I want to cover are the foundation formula. So this is the basis for the state's support of education funding in the state. And throughout the process, the funding formula, both when the governor proposed it, the House version, the Senate version, and then the final version, were all $190 million short of fully funding. So that's obviously disappointing. Missouri has been made it a point of pride for around the last decade to fully fund the foundation formula, which is the statutory guideline for what is needed to fully fund schools. So coming $190 million short is certainly disappointing and will have a real impact in the classroom. But the funding that schools will receive will be mostly flat to what they received this year. As many of you know, the foundation formula this year was being paid short of the state adequacy target. The state adequacy target this year was funded at about $7,145 a student. But the actual paid out amount over the course of the year was around $6,900. That was due to funding through the lottery and Prop C coming in short. And so there was not enough cash to provide districts the funding they needed. And that funding level is roughly what we'll see next year, maybe a little bit lower in the foundation formula due to that $190 million shortfall. I will continue to caution that the fiscal outlook for the state is rocky for the next year. Revenues for the current fiscal year are coming in around about what was estimated, but that's still about a 2% decrease over the previous fiscal year. So, I encourage you to, pay attention to any messaging Linda Quinley puts out and, be budgeting responsibly to make sure that we have what we need to support our students in the classroom.
Caitlin also has an update on the A through F rating system for schools.
Another piece of legislation that didn't pass, but we're going to get the policy anyway, is A to F. As you might remember, the governor said that he wanted an A to F rating system for school districts and school buildings, and he established it through executive order in his State of the State speech in January. And the legislature had, throughout the year, been working on a legislative version of A to F that would have superseded the executive order. But ultimately, that piece of legislation got wrapped up into the deal that involved the charter schools and some other education policies, and no A to F legislation was passed. So that doesn't mean that it's not coming. It just means that we will be getting it through executive order. We have not seen regulations yet from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, which is what will be required before it can be implemented. So it will not be implemented for the coming school year. It would not be ready to go until school year beginning in 2027.
To see Caitlin's full summary of the session, check out the extended edition of this month's board report on the MSBA website or MSBA's YouTube channel. The extended edition also covers topics from the session such as charter expansion, moving school board elections, and much more. MSBA's legislative positions on state and federal education issues are determined by the Delegate Assembly that will be meeting this coming October. If your school board has a position statement on an issue that you would like to submit to the Advocacy Committee for consideration, you can do so this summer. The Advocacy Committee reviews those proposals and makes recommendations to the Delegate Assembly that determines MSBA's positions on issues. And make your plans now to attend the 2026 MSBA Annual Conference in cooperation with the Missouri Association of School Administrators and the Missouri Association of School Business Officials, to be held October 22nd through the 24th in Kansas City. The event will once again feature outstanding general session speakers along with a wide variety of concurrent sessions, many presented by school leaders from districts throughout the state. Registration information for the conference will be posted on the MSBA website soon. And finally, congratulations to all of the regional winners of MSBA's Future Builders Student Scholarships. And congratulations to Luke Wolf of the School of the Osage, who is also the statewide winner. All of the students' essays are on the MSBA website. These outstanding students truly exemplify the amazing teaching and learning happening in every corner of the state. That's it for this month. Thanks so much for allowing us to have some time at your board meeting, and we'll see you in July for the next MSBA Board Report.
We have the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Report of the superintendent.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Enjoying this nice weather, I hope. The last few days have been fantastic. First on my report, you have in your packet a note, thanks. And then with us this evening, we have Mr. Kenneth Jones to give us an update on our transportation department.
Thank you all for having me for another year. I kind of do this in a chronological order for the year, but I wanted to take a moment to remember that as a school district, as a community, and as a transportation department, we had a rough day. We had a very tragic event that involved the transportation department, and I still think of it often. And I didn't want to just pass that up. On my way in every day to work, I think of the Barr family and the Bloomsdale School District. And still hoping for some peace and comfort for all of them. I didn't want to just zoom past that, and it's something that's still on my mind. So I wanted to touch on that. But this here, I want to thank Bailey Otto as we get into this. I keep notes all year long, and then she meets with me and puts this together for me. And I won't say what districts, but I have a few of them that asked to see my presentation now after I've sent some of them to them over the years. So, if you wouldn't mind. This is the video. Bailey got to come out to the bus department about 5:30 in the morning one morning, and this is, I believe, we're going to show to
Back to school.
back to school here. And one note as we're going through it, you'll see the new plow truck. It's actually an old maintenance truck. I want you to take a look at that. You'll see another picture later on. So just a little bit about the year. 1,057 students at some point were on a bus route. We are running 5 vans. You probably have all seen the 10-passenger at this point. It's getting used all the time, getting good reviews by our coaches and teachers back on those. Some other things that are important in there: 33,390 miles on the vans. The 338,000 miles you see down there on the buses probably is going to be closer to 350 by the time ESY is over. And 32 employees, give or take, that we run out of our department. Here's some of the information that you all have seen throughout the year. This is some of the things that Bailey puts out there for us. Every once in a while I'll get something and I'll send it to her and she'll throw it in some of those different formats. Here we are in one of the Dragons Digest. This is one of our mechanics, Corey Swint. That was from the previous year. You don't get your Fleet Excellence Award stickers till the summertime, so he was putting that on at the beginning of the school year for us. Here's the layout of St. Jen, and this will be the first time since I've been here that this will be repeated for the first day of school. So on something where we've had to spend a lot of time making sure that not only our bus drivers, but our teachers and our students knew where to go for the last 2 years. As of right now, that is all going to be the same. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. There's that truck I told you about. So maintenance handed us over the truck that they were getting rid of, and we made it our summer project last year. We have a head mechanic. His name is James Ash. He's unbelievable in his ability to fix anything. He did a lot of work on this truck, and I went and purchased a snow plow, put on the front of it. We were able to use this truck not only to maintain and take care of our own facility over there, but we were able to go to, we have I'd say 15 to 20 what we call turnaround spots on some of these routes where the MoDOT or whoever's in charge of those don't necessarily worry that much about. So now we're able to go out to some of these spots where our buses will be backing in to turn around on their route, and we were able to get out there and work on those, as well as this year, I really truly believe, because we were able to clean our route and do those turnaround spots during our one winter storm we had there. We was able to come back on a Friday, I believe, is that right? And some of our surrounding schools, Farmington being one, were not able to go to school that day. So I give a lot of credit to us being able to use this new truck we have out there, and a lot of praise for our mechanics for getting it up and running for us. Here's some yard signs you probably saw out in the community this year. I went to the transportation convention last summer, and they said if you fill out a form, we can send these to you. So I did that, and we probably put out 25 or 30, and then someone, I'm not sure, in the community got a hold of some too, and not from us, because there were some signs popping up throughout St. June that we didn't put out there that were these. And this is a big deal. Like to get those out before school starts, because I will tell you that this year I probably wrote close to 30 stop arm violations. People running through our stop signs and our stop arms. Probably got close to 20 tickets issued this year for that. So we like to get those signs out there and remind people there's going to be buses coming, so start behaving correctly with that. Reasonable suspicion training. I went and got this training last summer. This is part of the mandatory training now that the FMCSA is requiring schools to have. So I knocked that out last summer, and now have that certificate. The FMCSA has always been involved in school transportation, but they're getting more involved in school transportation. And about 2 years ago, they put out that they were going to start auditing schools. We got audited by them this year. Our audit went fantastic. They gave a few suggestions, and we'll follow what they've asked. But besides that, we're in very good standing with them. And they said it would probably be 8 to 10 years before we probably will see them again. So that will be my one and only audit of the FMCSA. New drivers. So last summer we had 2 people fill out applications. We brought them in. We put them through the ELDT training. Both of them, Richard Bazinga and Don Meister, finished their training in the summer, and they were full-time bus drivers for us this whole year, and both of them are returning for next year. So very pleased with that. We currently have Coach Joseph Howe is on week 3 of his training. He will be taking his test on Monday at 11:30, and I believe we have another applicant that will hopefully start training maybe at the end of this week or next week. So we have some movement in the right area there. Come drive a bus. I did 3 of these last year, and they got great reviews. We had a whole lot of people try it. Had a whole lot of people at the one we did at the school that day come participate in it. I think it conquered a lot of fears. I will say I haven't got anyone from that yet, but I still think that I still see it as valuable. I do plan to do another one, maybe at the beginning of the school year or what have you. Just because if it ever produces 1 or 2, it's a real big deal for us. So we did 3 of those last year. Here's, we had, was it retirement day? So some of the retired educators came back, and I met them that day at Bloomsdale. So there's some of the pictures of some of the former teachers and such from the district, and several of them got up there and drove a bus that day. This young lady here should get her license. She was fantastic, did a really good job, and she had a bus driver's demeanor ready to go. So that was a fun day, and once again, every time we get somebody to try it out, even if it ain't for them, they may mention it to someone in their family that just retired or something along those lines. So that was a day up there. This one here is probably the slide for you that I'm most proud of. There's 2 here, but this one's way up there. So route efficiency. Since coming here, you guys where was it at? We saved approximately $150,000 a year with an increase approximately of about 30%. So when I got here, I think you guys were running about 115%. You're inefficient up to 104, and we've got it down to, where's it at? 86%. That's the last one that I think that I've heard from Dr. Taylor. So we're down to 86%, which means there's no penalties for the district, and we receive all 75% of the reimbursement that DESE does on that. So in 2 years, we've eliminated 3 routes to the first year 1 before this last school year started. So I'm pretty proud of those numbers there. We got 4 buses going into the 2025-26 year, and as you guys know, we have 3 more coming. We're hoping to get those just before school starts. That's what they're telling me, but they've told me things like that before. So, but we've made some phone calls. We're getting everything ready for the moment they get there, so that we can get them legal and get them on the road. The bus drivers are really loving that and appreciating that, and it also lessens the burden on the shop out there, having some that we don't, that should be breaking down for a long time. Bus Safety Week, it's the month of October. There's some of the information that Bailey had sent out. There's some of the pictures of some of the things that went on that week. St. John, they spoil us out there. It's a it's like Christmas that week for us. We eat well, we have a lot of snacks, and then we do focus on the safety part of it and do a real good job of getting that information out there. Spring and fall bus evacuation. So in the spring, we typically do a front door bus evacuation because it's one of the more simpler ones to do. And we wait till the fall, and this picture here was from the fall, to do a back door, hoping that some of the kindergartners are a little more prepared for something like that. Although I will say every year when it comes to the spring back door evacuation, biggest problem is always junior high boys. They all want to jump. We can never talk them out of jumping. But there's some pictures of our evacuations that we've done. This year, so last year we did get the Fleet Excellence Award. I think it was we had one bus that got dinged. I think we came in at like 97.6. This year we hit the 100% mark. We did not have one bus get dinged for anything. I will tell you that it was, I knew we were doing really well. We were down to about our last 3 buses, and I saw a bus coming around, and one light goes off on a bus, and you can't get the 100%. And bus lights will go out all the time because they ride so hard. And I saw that bus coming around, and it was Buck that was driving it. He hit a bump, and one light in the center panel of the 3 clearance lights off the front went out. And I'm sitting there, and I saw it, and they were training a new inspector. So it pulls in, and I stand there the whole time just to communicate with them, get them anything they need. And he's looking at the young man. He says, "So do you see anything on this one?" And I'm going, "Boy, I see it. I see it." And sure enough, he finally found it. And so I knew we still had Fleet Excellence because we was having a great day. But I really wanted that 100%. So they're going on with the inspection, and there's another examiner that's inside the bus, and he does everything on the inside. They have a real routine. And when he lifts up the panel on the front of the bus where you have to show him the fire extinguisher, first aid kits and stuff, and he shuts it, the light comes back on. Hey, what about that? And the guy looked at me and he goes, "That, my friend's 100%. And so we pulled through and we got it. I'll make a special mention to these 3 people here. They work very, very hard to make sure we earn this award and to keep our buses safe. That's James Asher on the left, in the middle is Corey Swint, and on the far right there is Debbie Weeberry. Debbie Weeberry is one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life. And the success that we have on getting this award, her hands are all over that. So I'll throw out a possible nomination for some Employee of the Year. Kudos, maybe down the road. So the bands go out all the time. Like I said, we're at 5 of them, including our new 10-passenger van. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback from our teachers, our coaches, and our administrators on how clean they are, how ready to go they are. And once again, Debbie Weeberry spoils everyone here. She keeps them top-notch clean. You come get one of our vans, it's full of fuel, it's ready to go. She really does a great job with that. Budget check-in. So the first year, we came in at 1,485, and your estimate that year was supposed to be 2,175. For those that you remember, I said I could do that for you 1 year. We can't keep doing that. So the second year, you see there, we're at 2.6, and that starts to show in, the purchasing of the school buses and that. So I think we're doing a really good job with that, and look forward to keeping that in good standing. New signs. So we have, Bailey and I work with Mr. Tyson Roth. We have some signs coming. We're going to have one put on the building. We don't have any signage out there yet that says that that's St. Jen School District. So we're going to have one put on the building, and then another one will be in that, what would we call that? the form, we'll be able to attach it to a school bus.
Like a banner.
Banner type, banner was what I said for. And we'll put that on a school bus. You won't see it out all the time. I want to just do that at certain times. I know there's a lot of school districts that they'll put one on a bus or put one on a building and it just stays there, and I think it kind of loses its effectiveness when you do that. So you will from time to time see a banner on a school bus, and I'm gonna move that around, and sometimes it won't be out. So that way when people see it, they know, hey, now might be the time to go check that out. Join our team so that the information we get out there to people. Right now, knock on wood, we are at full capacity with drivers to start the school year. And we got a couple months to go, so a lot can happen there. But we're in a pretty good spot. We're always looking for sub-drivers. That's the big thing. So if you know anyone, we'd love to train them, love to get them in, and we're looking for people that just, when you need me. Which is a great position to be in, so. And thank you, like I said, since I've been here, district office, maintenance, we call on them, here and there, and they'll help us out whenever we need anything. Technology, we appreciate, and everyone takes really good care out of us out there to help us be successful also. And there's one of the, I think that might be the sign that's going up there that'll be on our building out there. I believe that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. As he was going through his presentation, I was reminiscing on the process that we went through to take on purchase Fallard Bus Company, and we've always been proud to partner with Fallard and proud of our bus drivers and the job that they did for the district. But having a transportation department underneath our umbrella as a school district, and how they perform on a daily basis, and from mechanics, people cleaning, Mary Ellen, and just thinking back on what a challenge that was and where we are now, it's a testament to their hard work out there. I'm very proud of the job they do out there. So great job, Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, next we got the Care to Learn end of the year report.
Hi, everybody. So I have so many good things to say about Care to Learn. I'm going to try and keep it kind of brief, but it was a really amazing year for Care to Learn and everything that we did. So just to kind of refresh everybody, Care to Learn, we became a Care to Learn chapter. It was 2 years ago in March. So our first year was kind of just feeling it out, figuring it out. This year we kind of really took it on and grew with what we could do to help our students. So it provides immediate funding for emergent needs in health, hunger, and hygiene for any of our students in the district. It is not limited to any kind of income level, any kind of issues or demographics. It's available to every single student. And so some of the things that we did this year included things like crutch tips, medication copays. We purchased some glasses for kids, and some dental visits that insurance wouldn't cover, things like that. We partnered with Save-A-Lot this year. They have been an amazing partner to us, and we did grocery vouchers. And so we can just fill out those for a certain amount, and the family takes them in and presents that, and then I get a statement that I'm able to pay once a month. So families are able to go and do their own shopping then. We did food bags at Christmas, spring break, and ended the school year. So we had bags go home. We paid negative lunch balances to help a number of students, especially our seniors, that might impact them getting their diplomas. We have kind of expanded the snack cabinets They're in my office, the counselor's offices, some of the offices with the secretaries have added them, and it's available to like the nurses and things like that as well. We've also started with Walmart, where I can place an order and the families can just go and pick them up themselves. So then that opens up even beyond Save-A-Lot, just needing hygiene products or cleaning supplies or anything like that for their household. As long as it falls under health, hunger, and hygiene, we're able to get those things for them. So then there's a few families that do not have vehicles, and so we can have Walmart delivery here at school, or to the school, but also to their homes. So we've done a few of those even. I've just kind of coordinated with the families, when will you definitely be home to be able to receive your order and things like that. And it's worked out really well and been very well received. The families are very appreciative. We've expanded our hygiene cabinets and hygiene supplies. We have washers and dryers available for the students to use. I now have a supply of like laundry detergent and fabric softener and body wash, shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, pretty much anything that you could name. We have it here, and if a kiddo needs it, it's on hand, which makes it kind of easy for them to, just make up a small bag if they need something right away. We've helped out with some of the supplies of pull-ups here at school. We can't necessarily supply them for the families at home unless they're kind of in an emergency situation, but we can make sure that those kiddos that need them on a consistent basis, we help supply those in the classroom. And then we partnered with the local laundromat here in town and has started doing laundry vouchers. So we're still feeling that one out, and we've used it a few times. So the thing is we're trying to figure out like how to get money to the families, but make sure that it actually goes for the washing and drying was a little bit kind of questionable. So instead we did like pay by the pound, and so they could just bring in their stuff, and it was washed, dried, folded, and they came back the next day and picked it up, and that worked out pretty well. Some families were a little weirded out by it, so we're still feeling that one out. And then of course we have emergent needs where, like I said, I can easily order even a pair of shoes from Walmart and have them delivered that same day if a kiddo doesn't have shoes. We ordered in some like Croc type shoes, and the nurses have them, so the nurses can take their shoes and then wash like their regular tennis shoes during the day, and they can wear the Crocs around at school for the day, and that way they have them. We also like managed to get like one size of almost every size of the shoes, so if the kiddos didn't have them for PE or an outside activity and they were wearing flip-flops or boots or something, they could go to the nurse and switch out their shoes just for that time, and then they went back to the nurse, so they're kind of on hand. So that's been really pretty awesome. We've also done a whole lot of exterminating and dumpster rentals. Some of our families struggle with potentially losing custody of their kids due to unsanitary living conditions. And if we can help with this, then they don't lose their children. Their children don't have to be displaced. Their children can stay at home, be happy, be healthy, come to school, focus on school. It's not a worry. So we've done a number of exterminations, and even we've been able to work with H.E. Williams, who is able to do like bed bugs, which not every exterminator is comfortable doing bed bugs, and some of them have like high-end whole home treatments, but H.E. Williams is able to do certain rooms if it seems like it's not a whole house infestation, and it's much more reasonable. So we've worked with them and managed to do even some bed bug extermination, which has been really great. So this past school year, we met 6,732 needs for our students. Care to Learn Central Office, just through different means, contributed about $1,250 to us. And then, of course, there is that grant through DESE, which we greatly appreciate every year. And they reimburse us 100%. until the money runs out. For anything that falls under health, hunger, and hygiene, I just have to keep up all the documentation for them so that so you can verify that information. So they reimbursed us this school year over $51,000. So you think about how much we put out and know that that much of it comes back. There's a handful of things that maybe don't, like hotel rooms are not covered, but if we have a family that's in an emergency situation like a house fire, we can still put that money out there. It just doesn't necessarily get reimbursed, but $51,000 is reimbursed, so you're able to meet needs and not be like calculating and penny pinching everything under the sun. You're able to really focus on just meeting needs. And I haven't heard yet this year. I'm hopeful, fingers crossed, that still did get funded again for the next school year. So. These are some of our community partners and donators that we have worked with for Care to Learn. Every one of these individuals and companies we greatly appreciate, and they have donated to Care to Learn, and that is in large part why we have the funding that we have and are able to meet those needs without any worries. And that's more. We also had some very generous people in their own time of grieving who thought of our organization, our chapter, and I greatly appreciate that. These were given in memory of Carolyn Balsler, and those were donations made in her name. Next page. These were given in memory of Darla. All of these people had generously donated. Some of them have signed up for ongoing monthly donations. And it is with these were kind of like Darla's family specifically requested that their funding goes to Bloomsdale, and we are perfectly fine. We've been keeping track of that. We keep that funding separate, and we're working on their clothing closet was kind of a little bit small out there. We're working on expanding that. We also talked about the possibility of expanding their Friday food bags, which I will get to that, and then also putting in a washer and dryer. There is a washer and dryer, but it's also for custodial use, so we were wanting one that was specific for the nurse and student use. So we did start some fundraising this year. Again, like I said, we're kind of just growing and figuring out what we're doing. And we need to continue to build this just in case that funding from that DESE grant decreases or goes away. And we have to be self-sufficient and not get that money back. And other chapters do really big things, but they're also really big schools. So we're starting small. So we did holiday apparel. We had a bunch of Christmas, St. John Christmas shirts. Those went over really big. Everybody loved that. And then we did a pajama day. I can't remember which. It was like coming back after like Thanksgiving break or something like that. It was like everybody could dress in their jammies because their pants might be a little bit tight. So that one went over pretty well too. So this is about the past year with just the backpack program. So we did the backpack program this past year through SEMO Food Banks, as we have in the past. We did 56 bags, and there was a small contribution, I shouldn't say small, a decent contribution from the food bank of $3,360. At this past year, we sent out 22 food bags to Bloomsdale Elementary and 34 to St. John Elementary. And these are people who donated and contributed to specifically to the backpacks on Friday. And this is special thanks. These are the people who help our STAR students in our alternative school. They help to sort and organize all of the shipments that come in, and then get those ready to go and make sure that then they take them over to St. John Elementary and make sure that they're ready to go out to Bloomsdale as well. Miss Kingery and Miss Williams oversaw the program here in town, and then Miss Bloom took care of the one in Bloomsdale. And then like maintenance helps make sure that those bags get out to Bloomsdale. And our whole it says building administrator who are very supportive of the program, but so are our teachers, because they're really great about letting us know if they have a student that they feel like could benefit from a food bag. So this is our plan for next year. So what we found was that some of the families were kind of getting a little bit less interested in the Friday food bag program. And I think funding and the cost of food has impacted everybody. So the food bags became kind of repetitive, like what they were offering. And as we became a chapter, we found out from a lot of other schools that they took care of this on their own. They ran these programs, they ordered the food, they sorted, they organized it, they packed it into bags. They didn't have like anybody that they were partnering with. They were just doing it through their Care to Learn chapter. And they were able to kind of expand it, like going not just with, so basically what it was in a food bag is to cover the weekend. So it would have a couple of breakfast items, so 2 days of breakfast, 2 days of lunches, a couple small snacks, and then usually like a box of mac and cheese, or a couple boxes of mac and cheese that would suffice for kind of supper. But we wanted to be able to do like a little bit more with it and kind of expand it. So we looked into this, we looked into what other schools have done, and so next year our plan is to collaborate and use our Care to Learn chapter to provide more variety and whole meals. We set up, Erin Jokers and I have set up an 8-week rotation of meal plans to provide them with cereal some mornings, but other breakfast items so that they can have a little bit of a variety. The same thing with like lunches. And then they had this like where you can make these kits, and it was all kits out of bagged and canned foods. So you could put it together and you can make like a white chicken chili, and then with it a can of green beans. Or you were able to do like a chicken helper with a can of chicken and then a box of chicken helper. So you would actually get like a supper out of it as well. You can do like, we have one that's like a jar of spaghetti sauce and noodles, and, so they can actually have a little bit more of a supper meal, or at least supplement at least one supper meal with it. So we're excited about this. Right now we're finding that the cost per backpack is running between $400 and $450, and that is just because the cost of groceries have gone up. And we have some anticipated funding. I have not actually received it, but I was told that we were going to be getting some additional funding from a local business. So we are planning to increase the number of backpacks to around 70 to 75 instead of the 56 that we did. And we feel like the families are going to be really open to this and very excited about it, honestly, because they do love what we send home on the holiday food bags, because those have a little bit more variety. And we added in some supper items this year, and all of that was very well received. So that'll increase Bloomsdale's to about 35 to 37, and then St. John's to about 37 to 40 bags. And we'll do this again, same as before, the first week of September through the first to second week of May, depends on how the funding goes and what we have. And then, like I said, we are still receiving donations of businesses and community members that want to donate specifically to the Friday Food Bag program, and we are keeping that funding separate so that we can fund this. And then also we will take advantage of that DESE grant as long as it's still available to reimburse us for some of the cost as well. So just kind of putting this out there in case anybody is interested in donating. A donation of $450 will ensure one backpack per week, feeding a student all the way from September to May. And we are going, previously they were like by families. Each family would get a food bag. This is going to be by students. So if there's 3 to 4 students in the elementary in a family, each of them will get a bag. That way there's plenty to go around. So you can make tax-deductible checks payable to Care to Learn St. Genevieve, and then send them here to the school. And those will be set aside for Friday food bags if you're wanting to donate specifically to that. And then if you are just wanting to help support Care to Learn and being able to meet all of these areas of health, hunger, and hygiene needs for any one of our students, again, you can donate at any time to our chapter. And again, those checks can be made out to Care to Learn St. Genevieve. And if anybody has any questions, they are free to give me a call at any time. I can explain things to them. So, thank you. Any questions?
Program.
Yes.
Is it going home these days in a bag or a backpack, or what's the actual physical container?
Well, so what we did this past year, and I think our plan is they are dark green plastic bags, heavy duty, like a thicker plastic bag, very large. So and it's going to be much more easy for them to handle. And because before I think we were doing like black grocery bags, but they were, not really super sturdy. And so the thing about the backpacks is that they didn't always come back. And a lot of times I have done the drawstring bags, but those can get really costly. And again, they don't come back. And so, I don't know what family's going to want, somewhere in the range of like 30 drawstring bags over the course of a year. So I'm going to go with the plastic bags, which again can be, like I said, reused as trash can liners and things like that. So, but it's really sturdy. It's not going to rip open on them. So, because what we are putting in there is more canned items and things like that. So it's going to be a little bit heavier. And we are trying to be aware of that, but it's going to be not so much worry about it tearing open. So, yeah. Thank you.
And finally in my report are the end of year summary reports from each of the buildings. There's quite a bit of information in there, but well worth your time to look through.
Public too?
Yes.
Worthwhile reading. That's unfinished business, the Prop SG updates.
As you can see on the screen, we have our asphalt in down at our wrestling facility. We have the punch list scheduled for Thursday. Bailey was able to take the drone down and get some drone footage of them laying the asphalt. Once that was down, it really started coming together. And then you can see a picture of the inside of it. We went with the black ceiling with green padding around with the black wrestling mat. Really kind of sets it off. I think our plan is after our meeting tonight to go down and take a little tour of it. So you'll get a first-hand view. We're short a little bit of the padding that goes under the mat. So we're waiting on that. And then we've got the transition finally identified, and then just, a few items here or there, and we'll wrap that project up. So.
And then that'll be it for Prop SG.
Not quite. So we were really strategic about how we invested the money. We wanted to be conscientious. The people in our community entrusted us with a $20 million bond issue, and we wanted to make the most out of the money that was provided by our community. So we were very strategic in how we invested it, how we drew it down. We were very strategic with Brock Miller Construction in going through and identifying savings in each project. And throughout that process, we were able to save money. So some of the things that we were talking about doing in-house, football field lighting is one of those things that we were able to tackle with Prop SG money, softball and baseball field lighting. So we get to the end of the project and we have a few funds left over, and what we were going to do in-house was use our maintenance crew to update our old wrestling room into our new weight room, and then our old weight room into kind of a multi-purpose room. I was talking with our architects and Brock Miller Construction, and they acted like that was within the scope of Prop SG because this was caused by movement from the wrestling room. So we're going to put that underneath the umbrella of Prop SG as well. We've been working with Dr. Nick's got a committee together at the high school of some coaches and got some equipment lists. We've been working with KRJ to identify an appropriate company to come in and give us some renderings of what our weight room could look like. I've got some preliminary renderings, and it has been so long that weight room has been the same weight room. I came in 2003 and it looked exactly the same. So it's been that way a long time. It's due for an update. I was able to go, the company that we're hoping to work with is Sorinex, and they just did a project at Windsor, and I was able to call Windsor Superintendent Jason King, go up and visit their facility, look at their equipment, ask them about their experience. So hopefully next month I'll have some final renderings for you and what those two spaces are going to look like. So and some additional Prop SG money that's remaining is going to be used to rehab those two rooms and make them into a quality weight room, and then a multi-purpose room that can also be staged as an away locker room when needed.
What was Prop SG pass?
22? 22.
Done a lot.
We have done a lot, and all in the midst of a tax protest. We would not have had to go out for a $20 million. Let me just remind you, there's $46 million sitting in escrow right now. We had to go out and ask our community to support a $20 million bond issue. If the taxing organizations in our community paid their taxes, everyone in our community would benefit, because we would have the opportunity to lower our tax rate for everybody in our community, rather than just watch $46 million sit in escrow.
The custodial services.
So one of the selling points for HES, I think you all remember when they came and pitched us their program, was getting up to staff within a year. We kind of banked on that. It's been a struggle. It's been an ongoing struggle getting up to staff. I will have to say that recently they've been doing better in bringing staff in and making that a priority. We're to the point now where we're talking about going a different direction, and I've had to sit down with them, telling them that, the challenges that we've faced, we recognize they're making it a priority now, and they're doing better. But we're 2.5 years in, and we were assured that they would be up to staff within a year. So I'm making the recommendation that we adjust and look at some other options. I was working with Mr. Horn and trying to identify some other possibilities without taking it back in-house. And we came across a company that came down and met with us a couple times, looked at our facilities, came up with a couple proposals, and you'll see their proposal in there. One of our unique challenges here at St. Genevieve is we have some custodial employees still on staff underneath St. Gen's umbrella. We didn't want to abandon them when we went this direction. We still feel that way, but I feel like 4M has some opportunities for our current employees to maybe transition over. Maybe they would be interested in it. That's not something that we would force, but that's a conversation we would like to have, because having it all underneath one umbrella regarding expectations for all team members, I think would benefit both the company that we end up going with and St. Genevieve as well. So I reached out to 8 or 9 current customers of 4M and talked to several of them on the phone, asked hard questions. 4M is coming in talking a lot of the same language that HES was pitching to us when they came in, and I was upfront and honest with them and told them I didn't believe a word they were saying. And I think they felt some of our frustration with staffing challenges and just an exhaustion for our current employees not being full staffed and having to come in extra hours or cover somebody's spot when they're not there. It's time to make a change. We've talked to our administrative team, talked about transition, when that would be good, and the common theme was there's never going to be a good time for a transition. We need to rip the Band-Aid off and try something new. So my proposal to you tonight would be to look over their final proposal. They've got, I think, 4 different options in there, depending on if St. Genevieve custodial employees stay underneath our umbrella, or if they would be interested in moving over. I think they have a bit of a different benefits package. We would want to sit down individually with each one of those people and talk it through and answer any questions they might have, so that should they choose to do that, they feel comfortable doing that. I would like to continue the conversation with 4M, and obviously that would culminate in bringing a contract to you all for review and approval. But I would ask for some latitude to be able to continue that conversation and the transition process.
So just to clarify, we're not forcing those 8 employees into potentially going to 4. It's going to be at their discretion.
Correct.
Okay.
Could we have some that do and some that don't, or does it be all?
Yeah, we could. It would be better to have all eggs in one basket, either under our umbrella or under their umbrella. That being said, we want to honor those employees and talk through their options individually with them, and be able to answer all of their questions. And if I'm one of those employees and I'm having some incentive to move under a different company's umbrella, I would be concerned, given our history over the last 2.5 years, that company might not be here for an extended period of time. And what happens then? And I would want to have that understanding that should that happen, should they make the choice to go under 4M's umbrella or another company's umbrella, they would have the option, and the district would honor the option for them to come back under ours should anything happen.
Is the incentive for them just the pay raise, potential for a pay raise?
Yes, I think there are some benefit changes from HES to 4M that they might be interested in as well. We haven't identified all of those yet, and I think it would be different individually depending on how long the employee's been here. But that's what I would like to explore.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but HES doesn't offer any sort of benefits to their employees currently.
I think they would argue differently. They offer some incentives. I don't know that I would categorize them under benefit package, but it's pretty limited.
Okay. I just remember a conversation with the gentleman from HES about that exact question. Particularly, I think medical insurance, I think, was the big thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I will tell you that 4M took it upon them. I continually harped on staffing issues and me having no confidence in them that they could get us up to full staff. And so they took it upon themselves, and after our second meeting went in back to their offices and posted a position openings. And as of last week, Amanda sent me an email and said they have 46 applicants. So if you take 25% of those that would, go through the process, I mean.
What is full staffing for us? The number?
I would love to be able to tell you, but we've been short-staffed for so long. I'm not sure. We have 8 under St. Jen's umbrella right now. And I know that originally I think we were supposed to have an on-site supervisor and then 4 HES employees. But as attrition occurred or people left St. Genevieve, we've added to that. And that's been one of my complaints with HES is their monthly bill comes in semi-itemized. There are these big buckets that they're charging us for, and I've asked to have clarity, and a complete itemization of their bill so that I know this number of employees is being paid by this amount. It's just one lump sum. Well, I want to know this FTE we're being charged for that. What 4M has agreed to do, let me back up. That being said, we were being charged a monthly fee regardless of whether they were fully staffed or not. We were being charged a monthly fee, the same monthly fee, whether they were absent 3 employees in one evening several times a month or not. What 4M has agreed to do is bill us at the end of the month for time actually worked and people actually on site. So they don't like doing it that way, but that's more protective for our district and what we're paying them and their word on getting us up to staff. You're welcome.
And I know the answer to this, but just for public transparency, there's no financial repercussions of us terminating our contract with HES.
I can remember Roger Hollenbach standing here saying, if you don't want us here, we don't want to be here.
Exactly.
I think there are some limitations in the contract regarding us notifying them and the number of days we have to give them to improve. I think we've been working through that. We're meeting Thursday with their leadership team to talk about a transition and what that might look like. So I'm hopeful we'll be able to nail something down on Thursday.
You'll negotiate one of those deals there, though.
I would like to continue that if that's okay with the board, yes.
Are you thinking option 1, which was, or I guess you're kind of still in the early stages of option 1, keeping the 8 employees under our umbrella versus?
So that's where, I'm sorry to interrupt. That's where we'll start. But I would like the latitude to sit down with 4M, a 4M representative and individual employees and talk through, this is what it could look like for you if you're interested in moving over.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to authorize the superintendent to enter into negotiations and execute an agreement with 4M Building Solutions as presented.
First by Jamie, a second by Jim. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Business. The audit engagement letters.
Beesink, Tay, Rowe, and Stroder sent us audit engagement letters, and this is just to formalize the process of getting started with our audit with them.
I've been happy with their audit. He's been here and presented it and has been pretty transparent.
But the people they send on site to work with our district office personnel have been great to work with too.
Yeah.
Do we bid this every so often?
Every so often we bid it, yeah.
Yeah, if you remember 2022 or 3, the price increased significantly. And I had done some research into that, and it's the nature of the work, like they're auditing an educational institution, presents not challenges, like they can't do it, but there's just not a lot of people doing it, so it's expensive to do. And it has to be done, like you can't not get it done. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the engagement letters of Beesink, is that right? Beesink, Hay, Rowe, and Stroder, LLC to audit the financial statements of the St. John County R2 School District for the year ending June 30th, 2026.
Second. Motion by Josh and second by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We have the addition of a dual-purpose canine program.
In your packet, you will see a proposal from Officer Cusinelli. Started this conversation a couple of weeks ago, sat down last week and kind of talked it through. We had some therapy dogs come in over this past year, and I've always been a little skeptical because I'm like, what do they do? How do they help? And then I was out at Bloomsdale Elementary when the therapy dogs were there, and I was like, oh, now I get it. It just helps people engage somehow with an animal, and it gets them in touch with their own feelings, or what they are trying not to feel sometimes. It was such a unique learning experience for me and they're not, you're sitting on the floor in the library petting a dog and having small conversations with people next to you, and just allowing yourself to be during a time when you just need to allow yourself to be. So when Officer Cusinelli came to me with this idea, I was quite intrigued by it, and then trying to work through some of the specifics. We sat down in the office and kind of talked it through. I asked him to come tonight because he's a bit more of an expert in this area than I am, and has had several dogs over the years. This would serve, Officer Cusinelli, feel free to jump in at any time, but this dog would serve as a dual-purpose therapy dog, and I think his intention is to have it on campus the majority of the time that he's here. But also, marijuana sniffing dogs, I don't think are being trained out in the field anymore.
So since the law passed, the police departments can't utilize the dog that is specifically trained in marijuana due to constitutional law issues. So what you're seeing is the dogs that were utilized on the street prior to that law being passed are now, they're not allowed to be used for narcotic purposes. So departments are now, when they're transitioning those dogs out, they're just having the dogs trained on all the other basic odors of narcotics with the exception of marijuana. In our county, like some of you know, my dog that I retired, we had to put him down this morning. He was one of only two that are left here that we were utilizing for drug sniffs at the school, and now we're down to one that's going to be retired to the sheriff's office, so we won't have any in our county for the marijuana itself.
And at the school district, obviously marijuana is still not allowed on campus. So that tool is still useful to us on our campus. Is there anything else you'd like to?
This is pretty much covered on it. I've been a dog handler for most of my police career, so that was not my purpose to come here to work at the school district, but being here for the last two school years, I've seen the need for both of them. I think that the therapy part is huge. Like, being able to connect with the kids, and like you were saying, they're more relaxed. They can come talk to you. It gives them, something to look forward to. They're always asking about the dog that I brought in. They're always wanting to see it. So I think it's a big positive thing for the students. Just having one here. Like you said, if this is something that everybody is interested in, wants to happen, it would be something we have on a day every day. So we would be here at every day at school. We would bring a dog in. We'd have football games, any special functions that I'm at, the dog would be there as well.
And you'll see in that proposal some costs that he put down there. We were also talking through, there might be some opportunities to reduce those costs a bit. He's been doing it quite a while and has a few connections, and might be able to reduce those costs somewhat.
Based on the numbers you and I talked about, I did some research and I was able to reduce it by $10,000 already.
And this will be, for lack of a better term, a new dog, not a retired dog.
Yes, it'll be a new dog. It'll be something that we'd have around here for probably 8 to 10 years.
What kind of breed?
So I'm not looking at the standard German Shepherd, Belgian Malinois, Dutch Shepherd. What I'm looking at is either a Labrador Retriever or a German Shorthair Pointer. As we all know, some of you guys have seen me here work on the street. As a policeman, you have a dog that's intimidating looking, and that's not what we're going for. We're going for something that is more less intimidating. That's something that's welcoming to the students and people can be approach and stuff. So the German Shorthair Pointer is a very popular breed right now in law enforcement, and I think with what we would want to utilize a dog for here at this district, I think that would serve the purpose because they do tend to have a little bit more energy and not assigned to one building and all over the place. So I think having something that's a little more on the high energy side would be beneficial for us here.
I have two questions. Both, so I'm not knowledgeable of drugs, but So will they be able to sniff a vape that has cannabis, like a cannabis vape?
Yes, so we're not, the dog wouldn't be per se looking for the vape itself, it's gonna be looking for the marijuana odor.
Okay.
And the THC and the marijuana, so.
Okay, and my other question was, and maybe this is kind of answered it, but, you see a police officer on the streets with their dog and it says, do not touch this dog. How does that work when you have a dual purpose emotional support dog, but also one who can,
So,
detect?
In what you see on the street, the dual purpose dog on the street is, the other functions that it does some patrol related stuff, which is building, clearing, looking for suspects, tracking missing people, but also tracking suspects.
You catch someone running,
Yes, and those dogs are trained to protect handlers. They're going to react to things without giving a command, to protect the handler. So what we're looking for and what we're going to try to achieve here, none of that's going to come into play because we're not going to have a dog that does any of that stuff. So
okay.
That's where it would be different and be approachable. Of course, I've worked a long time, so there may be a time where we're out like working in the parking lot, like sniffing cars or something. I may tell a student, hey, let me get done with the work task we got going, and I can get with you and let you come and approach the dog and pet him. So if we're like in the work mode, I'm gonna make sure the dog's doing the task at hand, and then if we gotta switch gears, which we really use that to do.
Okay.
And I will tell you, our kids are really good at understanding that difference, especially at the high school and working with Officer Cusinelli just the last couple of years. They understand when he's there and he's working, they know that that's a time not to approach or not to have, any of those conversations with Officer Cusinelli or
We've
Mark.
had that happen where we've been out and they've approached and asked if they could pet the dog, and I simply said, hey, come find me later, or when we get done here, I'll find you because let's get to this task we're working on, and I can certainly let you do that. Also, the roles you have, I think there's a few things I talked with Dr. Wood this morning. I think I can share a couple grand off of that already. There's some things we talked about.
Officer Cusinelli, is this model used in different schools all throughout Missouri, or?
Yes, so some of the schools that are closest that have something of a similar program is Farmington. They have a therapy/drug dog there. Then the Central School has Park Hills Police Department there, and then they have a dog that is specially trained to locate guns, and so it's also used for therapy and stuff as well. So.
I mean, I love the idea of a dual purpose animal, but it seems there's this little part of me that thinks it seems like there's a disconnect, like 1 minute he's out fighting crime and the next minute he's comforting somebody, which is what officers can do, I know.
And this also, I was telling Dr. Taylor, is Dr. Wood knows as well, this also is another way for the students to connect with me. They can approach me, build a relationship with me. Just like what I found is the elementary kids are very easy to connect with, but on the high school level, they're a little more reserved. So this is just some other avenue that I can use to do that as well.
I do like John Shorter.
So the district owns the dog?
Yes.
Okay. You take the dog home?
The dog will be assigned to me. I'll take care of all the care, everything that needs to be done with it. But it is a district-owned dog. It is not owned by the police department or the sheriff's office.
So then you're not our office or something, which that's not gonna happen, right? So, but
I'm sorry?
let's say you're not here.
Okay.
Hypothetical.
If I'm not here, you reassign it to someone
Okay.
else. You guys know the Officer Clark, that was it.
Yep.
All right. So the dogs are already trained when you'll get it. It's not one that you'll pick out and be trained or.
So that's a good question. So it will be something that we will, in the proposal, I put in there the kennel that is reputable that everyone uses in this area, that I had recently traveled to the police department. The way I explain it in the demonstration is you're car shopping, basically. You're going to a dog vendor, and then you tell the vendor what your needs are, and then they have a selection of dogs that you will look at the best. And then you pick something that has the right drives, temperament, and environmental stuff to suit the needs of this district. And then, some of those places, they can train the dog for you, you can bring it back, do it yourself, you can have an outside trainer come in and assist and train. So there's various things you can do as far as that goes. Yes, you would basically go select a dog somewhere, purchase the dog. If you just purchase the dog, they come with a health guarantee for like a year. So.
Yeah, some dogs like this are a lot more expensive. Yes, and this
Yes.
depends on how they're trained, I guess.
The training, what it is that you're looking for in the dog. If you're going with a traditional dual purpose police dog for patrol work, the cost will be much higher.
So it's our dog. We own it. What kind of liability comes along with it? I mean, is it insurable for our?
Yeah, we would have to let music know.
Okay.
And, you know, Officer Cusinelli said there are other school districts that do it. Those schools are with music as well. So obviously they're familiar with it, but we would have to notify them.
And then we could, it hits on something that's wrong. I mean, is it something you just deal with, or is that, I don't know, if it's probably happened before, I don't know.
Like if they like have a loss of work.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we don't have any liability. If we catch something, I mean, I guess the kids are here, we got every right to search them and everything.
Reasonable suspicion.
Okay.
Yeah, it falls in, with a dog, the unique thing with the dog, and the shit falls here too, is like on the street, so if an officer makes a traffic stop and they suspect something, maybe they had prior contact with somebody, maybe they smell an odor, they can call a canine nearby to do, they call it free air sniff on the traffic stop. There's some things that can fall in place with the free air sniff. If the dog does the free air and is an alert to the vehicle, that's their probable cause there. They don't need consent from the driver to enter the vehicle to do a sniff. Basically, further the investigation of the search. But as far as like the liability part, in insurance, they do offer insurance. The city did cover, they did have insurance on the dogs, which I'm sure they still have. And some of that insurance covered like if something happened to the dog, then they had to be retired or replaced. So there is insurance as far as that liability. If you cut down the liability, you cut down the liability drastically because you're not having that patrol dog that's capable of apprehending somebody physically. So your liability goes way down.
I know you don't know what you don't know, but like, has Farmington or Park Hills found their dog effective in decreasing drugs in their schools?
I would imagine so, because the Park Hills, they just recently brought theirs on, which it doesn't do drugs, it's just a gun sniffing dog. In Farmington, I believe they have had their dog for a number of years.
And I will say it's been a deterrent for us. The last couple of years since we've had Officer Cusinelli and Mario has been up and been on campus, I would definitely say it's been a deterrent. I think early on we had some positive things that popped up, but the last several times that we brought the dogs through, we have not had anything.
Will you be the specific, or even the only one that can be with this dog? Or, you know, it's like,
yeah, for handling purposes, yes, so the dog would be assigned to me, and I would handle the dog. But as far as like people coming up and interacting with us, like anyone can come interact with us. But as far as like handling the dog, yes, because one thing we would do is after the initial training, I would be certified through one of the accredited organizations that the Department of Justice recognizes, and I would do that annually. And so when you do that, you have to like, it can't be like multiple people that get certified with that dog.
Yeah, that's right. So we're taking, you know, I guess a bit of a risk, though, to say that we buy this dog. It will be with Officer Cusinelli. If he's not, the dog's not.
No, if like something happens to me, like, you're hypothetically something happens, you can reappropriate that dog. They assign that dog to somebody else.
Yeah,
so
another officer would get trained.
Yeah, it's not like you're gonna have,
okay,
you're gonna have me get the dog and then, let's say something happens in a year, for whatever reason, you just reassign it to another SRO. So it's not like something.
Okay, that's a real thing, okay, that's.
How long does it take, so say you blow your knee out, you're out for 6 months? Like, can Officer Clark pick it up in 2 weeks, or is it like a longer time for her to leave?
Well, we'll have to listen to her complain for about a month.
You would say, yeah.
Because if you don't want to, like, in a situation like that, you don't want to reassign that dog to another handler, and then when the initial handler gets back healthy again, and reassign it back, because you're having to establish a bond between that handler and that dog. And her, if she was to handle the dog, the amount of time that it would take to train her dog is a lot more than me, because I have like 23 years of experience, and I've handled over 5 dogs. And so for me to go in and get the initial training with the dog is about 10 to 14 days, where a brand new handler is somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks.
Okay.
And I just have to ask, it's probably highly unlikely, and I know we will be insured, but insurance is the least of our worries. I mean, just in the event, do these dogs sometimes rarely bite kids? I mean, I have some dog trauma in my background, and I'm scared of dogs like that.
And I understand that, because that's why I was saying we go with a the dog is not intimidating looking,
right,
for reasons like that. In our line of work, we call them flop-eared dogs. The shepherd and Malinois are like the pointy-eared dogs.
Right.
We go with like a hound type dog because it's less intimidating, and the selection process that is done by the vendor in Europe to bring a dog over is intense, and then we go select the dog. It's not just me, it would be me and somebody else, maybe 2 other people will go look and do our own assessment and pick something out, because my thing would be is if this is something we do, I would go to the vendor and I'd say, hey, look, you put dogs at Bush Stadium, which this particular vendor does, I would be like, we need a dog that is the same caliber dog that fits the environmental portion of it, and then the socialization part. Because they have dogs that are at Bush Stadium that are around people, obviously, several thousand. So we would want to, that's what we would be asking for, something with that level of socialization and the environmental part.
And I've interacted with Farmington's dog, Frida. She's a sweetheart. She is a lab, and I'll be at a meeting, and she will just walk over, whether you can like put your hand out and she'll come to you. Even if you don't necessarily, she'll come and just like lay her head on your lap. She is very docile, very sweet. And like I said, you don't even know that you need it, but it's like she comes over and you just kind of pet her head, and she'll be sitting in this really stressful meeting, and it's very, very cathartic. She's wonderful.
Well, this is awesome. I love it. I'm happy to make a motion to approve the proposed dual-purpose canine program as presented.
I'll second. Go ahead. No, you're fine. Go ahead.
Second by Martha. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, food service bread.
We received 2 bids. This is very similar to what we received last year as well. My recommendation would be to go with Holloway Distributing.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the bread bid from Holloway Distributing for the 26-27 school year as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Milk.
I don't know that I have another option, but to recommend Prairie Farms.
I'll make a motion to approve the milk bid for Prairie Farms for the 26-27 school year as presented.
I'll second.
Josh. All in favor? It's a small purchase.
This one's a little quirky. Jordan does a fantastic job of going back and forth between PFG and US Foods. These prices obviously change every week. Sometimes one goes up and the other comes down, so she monitors it continuously and always goes back and finds the lowest price for that particular buying cycle. So we would just recommend you allow her to continually do that same process.
And I believe this was a finding in our audit, correct?
Exactly.
And the finding was because we had not approved for PFG, I think.
I think we had just approved one of them, and she was going back and forth finding the lowest price, and that caused the finding.
Yeah, saving money but getting in trouble.
Right.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the small purchase bids from Performance Food Group, PFG, and US Foods for the 26-27 school year, and authorize the superintendent or his designee to make purchases from the approved bid sheets as needed, with consideration given to quality, cost, and market fluctuations.
Second.
Josh, Bill, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Elevator service.
I believe we're with Cardinal now.
I think the question she's probably getting at was nothing to do with the elevator going into middle school taking.
Oh, no, that's not. I was
Okay.
just curious, so I couldn't remember.
That was just a new elevator installation. That was the state having to
Yes.
approve it. Nothing
Yeah,
to do with
the initial approval.
Right.
Yeah. I talked to Mr. Horn about this. We've been pretty happy with Cardinal, and they're significantly cheaper.
That's what I was wondering.
So it would be a monthly, so when you look at the bid, is it monthly, when we say it's just monthly?
Monthly for 1 year and monthly for 3 year. My recommendation would be to go with the 3 year, because that's significant. They're getting a 3 year contract with us, with guaranteed payment.
So are they, they're on site every month?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I get the PO every month I have to sign.
Well, that's kind of comforting.
I'll make a motion to approve Cardinal to provide full elevator maintenance services at a 3-year monthly for a period of 3 years, as in July 1, 2026. Okay.
Jerry, Martha, all in favor?
Aye.
Pest control service.
We've been pretty happy with the bug guy. We transitioned over. Last year, Mr. Horn says they're very responsive. Whenever we have an issue going on, they'll come out. Anytime they need to make an adjustment, they're very communicative. So my recommendation would be to stay with them.
Do they take care of mice? Because I think Janelle Rice would love to know that. I'm just kidding. But she would love to know that. I think so.
That's because I'm not going to.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid of Bug Guy to provide pest control services for the district for a period of 2 years. I'm sorry, I did not look at that word. What?
I think we did 3 the last time. This could be another 3.
Of 3 years, effective July 1st, 2026.
Jamie and Jim, all in favor?
Aye.
HVAC replacement at middle school.
Last year, we did one of the 30-ton units on top of the middle school, and this is the partner unit up there as well.
No one wants to replace our HVAC?
Burns kind of has a corner on the market,
Yeah.
plus they do really good work.
I mean,
They come out whenever we call. They know our systems. We're pretty happy with them.
Good.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid for mechanical to complete the replacement of the havoc.
Martha and Jim, all in favor? The budget.
So you'll notice our budget looks much different than in the past. Normally we have a very, very detailed 90-plus page document that we provide. This year's budget has been reformatted to provide a higher level view of the district's financial position. The goal is to make the budget easier to understand, easier to discuss publicly, and more focused on the major financial decisions before the board. Detailed accounting codes and supporting financial data still exist behind the budget, but the book now emphasizes the major revenue assumptions, expenditure categories, fund balances, staffing decisions, and overall financial direction of the district. The new format gives the board and the public a clearer picture of the budget while maintaining the financial discipline behind the numbers. The fiscal year 27 budget reflects the St. Genevieve County R2 School District's continued commitment to providing a quality education for every student while maintaining a strong and responsible financial position. This budget was developed using conservative revenue estimates and cautious expense projections. In simple terms, we budgeted revenue carefully and estimated expenses high enough to avoid surprises. The main philosophy behind this budget is straightforward. Plan conservatively, invest where student needs are clear, support staff, and protect the district's future. I'm going to go through some revenue assumptions first, and then I'm going to pause, see if you all have any questions. Revenue assumptions, the overall revenue is projected to remain relatively flat moving into the fiscal 27 year. The district is not assuming a major revenue windfall, which is why expenditure decisions continue to be targeted and tied to staffing needs, student services, required operating costs, and long-term district stability. On the revenue side, the district used the state adequacy target assumption of 6750. At this underfunded level, the district will not receive approximately $792,000 of calculated revenue that would be available if the state fully funded the SAT at 7145. Current year SAT, just for reference, came in at $6,900, $69.58, thank you. I was trying to superimpose them and I knew 85 wasn't right. Came in at $69.58. So moving into next year, we're assuming that that's going to come in at $67.50. DESE always starts out the year paying a little less, so they're sure that the revenue comes in, so that they're not having to ask for money back from school districts. So we're being pretty conservative with that. Some other school districts are using a budget number of 6,800 there. I would rather start out at 6750, and then maybe at our first revision, if things look good coming in, we can move that up to 6,800. Locally, the budget assumes a 2.2% increase in assessed valuation, which would result in an estimated $96,000 increase in total revenue. This estimate is based on average growth in prior non-reassessment years and reflects a cautious approach. The district will also continue to monitor issues that may affect future local revenue, including tax protests, collection rates, and the potential impact of tax freeze provisions associated with Senate Bill 190 and Senate Bill 3. The key point is that the district has taken a careful approach to revenue. If revenue exceeds these assumptions, that will strengthen the district's position. If revenue comes in closer to the conservative estimate, the district has budgeted in a way that allows us to operate responsibly. Any questions about revenue? If you go to your budget document, and really what's on the screen up there is the first page of Balance HQ, the budget printout that I provided in your packet. And you turn the page one time, on the right-hand side, you will see the revenue component. And I did want to point out if you look on the third page of revenue, and you have to kind of squeeze over, it's 5311. It is the third blue line down on the right-hand page. It says basic state formula, state monies. You'll see a $105,000 decrease. That's where that SAT going from 6958 down to 6750 comes in. Now, keep in mind, that number is supposed to be 7145, so both of our estimates are being underfunded by the state. On to expenditures. The decrease in total expenditures from last year is largely a capital project timing issue, not a reduction in educational programming. As Prop SG projects near completion, large construction-related expenditures are naturally coming down. At the same time, the operating side of the budget continues to reflect increases in salaries, benefits, insurance, utilities, special education, technology, transportation, and daily operations. This budget continues to maintain the services, supplies, facilities, staffing, and programs necessary to support a quality education for our students. Salary and benefit adjustments. A major priority of this board and in this budget is maintaining a competitive compensation while remaining financially responsible. For certified staff, the budget includes a $1,500 increase to the base salary, bringing the teacher base salary to $47,000. That's a 3.3% increase. The budget also increases teachers' salary schedule steps from 640 to 650. That aligns with some surrounding school districts, and they were outperforming us a little bit in that area. And allows for regular step and lane movement. For support staff, the budget includes a regular movement on the salary schedule and also a 3.3% increase to the base salary rates in lanes 1 through 13. The budget also reflects the increase in board-paid health insurance from $612 per member per month to $664 per member per month. That's a $52 increase per member per month. Compensation is not just salary. Health insurance and benefits are a major part of the district's overall investment in staff and are important for both recruitment and retention. We've had some staffing changes this year, a bit more targeted than they were last year. Last year's budget included several major structural additions tied to the Early Childhood Center and district-wide support systems. This year, the additions are focused primarily on identified student needs at the elementary level, special education services, and technology support. The budget includes additional special education staffing at St. Genevieve Elementary and Bloomsdale Elementary, including one position split between the two buildings. These positions are tied to student needs, service delivery, compliance obligations, and classroom support. The budget includes one additional teaching position at St. Genevieve Elementary. At the same time, the district did not fill one first grade position at Bloomsdale Elementary. That's important because it shows that staffing decisions were reviewed position by position rather than simply rolled forward. Technology support is also addressed in this budget. As instructional systems, student data systems, cybersecurity, classroom technology, and daily operations become increasingly dependent on technology infrastructure, this support is necessary for both instruction and operations. And if you'll remember, several meetings ago, we took the technology aide position and the assistant technology director position, and we kind of reframed them as system administrators so that we could have some cross-training as well. Through our interview process, we found that some districts are pigeonholing people into network administrator positions and not exposing them to other components of the technology department. We didn't want to do that here, so we think we took a step in the right direction there. Facilities and Prop SG. As Prop SG nears completion, with the wrestling facility wrapping up and remaining project funds being used to carefully complete additional work as funding allows. The decrease in capital project expenditures should be understood in that context. It does not represent a retreat from facility needs or a reduction in student services. It reflects the natural winding down of the major construction expenditures as projects move closer to completion. The district will continue to monitor facility needs and use available project funds carefully and strategically. And I think we're getting ready to schedule a date to have our district long-range facilities group come back together and start that process again. Fund balances. Even with planned investments and conservative budget posture, the district remains in a strong financial position. The projected decrease in fund balance is manageable and reflects planned investments in student staff and facilities rather than a lack of financial control. The district has intentionally maintained strong reserves, and those reserves provide flexibility as we respond to uncertainty related to state funding, tax protests, collection rates, insurance, utilities, transportation, and future facility needs. A strong fund balance allows the district to manage uncertainty, avoid reactionary decisions, maintain stability, and continue serving students well. I do want to point out one thing regarding fund balance. It's June 23rd. We will not close out fiscal year 26 until June 30th, and then probably closer to the end of July, Crystal will have all the bills in, and we'll be able to finalize the ASBR and get some final numbers. One of the major assumptions in creating this budget was a starting point for each fund balance. So the prior budget revision for fiscal year 26 approved by this board gave us some of those fund balances, and those are the fund balances that we used to start this budget. They are not accurate. I can fudge it a little bit and look at some expected revenues and some expenditures that we don't expect to go out this current year and get it a little closer, but I wanted to honor what this board has approved in a prior meeting and start there, knowing that those numbers were approved months ago by the board and won't be accurate. So as soon as we're able to get those accurate numbers when we submit that ASBR and we're able to do a budget revision when we come back next time, those will be locked in and this budget will be much closer. Okay? Overall budget message. This budget is conservative on revenue, realistic on expenses, supportive of staff, responsive to student needs, and protective of the district's long-term financial position. It supports students by maintaining programs, services, supplies, facilities, and staffing needed for a quality education. It supports staff by improving compensation and maintaining strong benefits. It supports taxpayers by making careful assumptions, avoiding overextension, and using district resources in a transparent and practical way. As we move forward, the district remains focused on providing excellent opportunities for students while earning and maintaining the trust of the community we serve. With approval of this budget, the board will be approving the fiscal year 27 budget, the related salary and benefit adjustments, staffing additions, program and service resources, and the financial plan for the 26-27 school year. This budget allows the district to continue serving students well, supports staff, maintains programs and facilities, and remain in a strong financial position. I recommend the approval of the fiscal year 27 budget as presented. I will entertain any questions you might have.
One thing I want to point out, looking at the proposal for 27 for certified and non-certified salaries, we are, compared to 2023, we're up $3.3 million in expenses. Meanwhile, revenue is up 2.2, so we're investing more in our teachers. I think that's a great thing. You're investing in kids ultimately there, so that's a good thing to see. Also want to point out your fund balance. As a board, we set a goal of between 40 and 45%. And for the public, that is how much money you have in your savings account for a future year's budget. So Dr. Taylor's doing a great job with that. And finally, the assessed valuation, touch upon that and how that works with Linda, that we don't do that. Can you touch upon that real quick?
Yeah, so every year we receive our tax papers just like all of our community members, and we get a total assessed valuation for our community. Last year, the assessed valuation for our county was $953 million, just over. The assumption for this year is just 635, 330. So that's a 2.2% increase, and that's a little conservative. You never know what the political landscape is going to be and exactly what's going to happen. So I used the last 3 years of non-reassessment years to come up with that conservative 2.2% increase.
Okay, all the questions I had or comments. That's good. I like the new Balance HQ. It simplifies things, makes it not so in your face.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, not so in your face.
It's a much better report to be able to look at and digest.
Okay. Well, one question I meant to ask, I forgot to. Does this also include the wellness benefit that we provide to employees every year, have for the last couple of years?
Yeah, so that I budget that in there. That being said, that's always a lever we can pull if things go wrong. I never want to. I really like the wellness benefit. I think it's worth so much more than the stipend that's attached to it, for a variety of reasons.
There's more than just financial benefits for the employee.
Yes, it partners us with the hospital, our local hospital, and brings them into our facility, and hits on a lot of health-related topics, which is great. But it also allows our people to get together in a way that they usually don't get to, under the guise of getting a little money. So they're usually in a better mood, and it's just a different atmosphere. I've really enjoyed it over the past 2 years. It helps that Dr. Mercer is fantastic at putting it all together. But yeah, I'm sorry. Long story short, yes, that money is included in there, and we hope to continue that.
This is not to cut you down, but incentivize yourself. Yeah, looks really good. Okay, I'll make a motion to adopt the fiscal year 2027 budget for the St. James County R2 School District, the 2026-2027 school year as presented, and to approve all related compensation adjustments, benefit provisions, staffing additions, program resource allocations, and financial assumptions incorporated into the budget.
Motion by Josh, second by Martha. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Any personnel changes approved during a closed session will be provided in the draft meeting minutes within 72 hours of adjournment.
All right. Motion? Yes. Wondering if you're ready. Right. Motion to adjourn the open session of the regular meeting of the Board of Education of St. Genevieve County R2 School District.
Second.
Motion by Jerry, second by Josh. Jamie Blue?
Yes.
Josh Gettinger?
Yes.
Eric Osler? Yes. Jerry Diesel?
Yes.
Martha Riesinger? Jim Kirschner? Yes. Bill Clark?
Yes.
Everybody?
Josh, second.
Yes.